So I imagine many of you that are watching this video are still incredibly peeved at the WWE and what happened Sunday at the 2015 Royal Rumble, in particular with their decision to have Roman Reigns be the Royal Rumble winner, giving him that chance to main event and headline WrestleMania. I understand it, and I get it, and the simple truth and fact of the matter to me is it's all about fear. It's your fear of Roman Reigns and the fact that you feel he's going to go and fall flat on his face at WrestleMania 31. It's that fear of him becoming John Cena 2.0. It's that fear of what it represents from the WWE on several different levels. It's also about that fear of what this company might do with Daniel Bryan going forward the rest of 2015. And it's most certainly about that fear, in my mind, in my opinion, that many of you, the hardcore wrestling fans, that got a little bit of a taste of what it was like to book your show heading into WrestleMania 30 with what happened with Daniel Bryan, that you're afraid you're going to lose that power, that you have lost that power, and you have lost that voice. You got a little taste of it, a little dick tease, if you will, and you want more, more, more. That's what it's all about. Plain and simple. It's about fear. No other way I can really put it other than that. I understand it, and I get it. I think it's misguided. And also know this, that at the end of the day, WWE hates us and can't live without us. We hate the WWE, and we love it more than most any other thing on this planet, and we can't live without it. So for all of you that are sitting there talking about you're done with them and screw this and screw that, you'll be back. And the WWE can act like they don't care about you, but again, it's a guilty pleasure. They'll try and get you back. And it'll happen like it always happens. Because at the end of the day, it's a marriage. And especially from a fan standpoint, we love that WWE pussy too much. We'll come back and try and pump it later on. It's going to happen. Mark my words. And y'all know it's true too. But with all the anger and frustration and the canceled WWE Network crap and the rioting outside of the arena crap in Philly, what else would you expect? The one thing that really upsets me about this and frustrates me about this more than anything else is this whole notion, ridiculous as it is to me, that Roman Reigns isn't ready. I think it's time to put this narrative to rest, because this to me is flat out ridiculous. It truly is. Let's be honest, a lot of times you don't know, no matter how well or poorly you prepare somebody for a certain spot, how well they're going to be ready or not be ready for that spot until you give them that moment. You give them that opportunity. You give them that chance. We see this all the time in sports. We see it in the business world. You can prepare somebody incredibly well, and then when they get to that top spot, they fall flat on their face. And then sometimes you'll see that person that was prepared very poorly or doesn't seem ready at all. And then when they get there, all of a sudden, man, it's magic happens. They piece everything together, and it's incredible, and it's awesome. How do you know that Roman Reigns isn't ready? It's that fear of him not being ready and all the other things that it could represent. But we don't know that. And frankly, we're not going to know that until he's given that opportunity to where we'll be able to look back once it plays out and say whether or not he was really ready. What's even more aggravating about this to me, though, is that people seem to miss this major point. If we go off of the old Titan Tower philosophy and machine operating standards of how they used to make and create new big stars, nobody on the current WWE roster in terms of a new or fresh face would even be close to being ready. Nor would ever be, especially in today's creative waste dump of a toxic environment that is the WWE. And let's keep it real. And furthermore, what I really don't get is how so many people get off sitting there and saying that Roman Reigns isn't ready, Yet I seem to remember a few years ago when Daniel Bryan got his first opportunity, they thought it was incredible and that it was so star-spangled awesome and he can't be denied. And even before that, CM Punk, when he got his first opportunity at the title, this is great and this is awesome and incredible and bullshit. If Roman Reigns isn't ready now, what the hell were CM Punk and Daniel Bryan? Seriously. When we're looking at how these different characters were built up and developed, you're talking about a Roman Reigns that's been on the WWE main scene for over 2 years now. He's been featured in big-time storylines and big-time angles, been given a lot of shine, a lot of feature as a big-time star, as somebody to take seriously. Where you had CM Punk spend almost 2 years on WWE CW. Then for some reason you have him win Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 24. A few months later he cashes in and he's the freaking champion. Oh, but when that happened, that was great. And that was awesome. Why? Because CM Punk looked like you? Because CM Punk spent a decade on the independent scene? Because CM Punk did some incredible flips and some incredible kicks and all this other stupid crap? No, when he won it, it was dumb. When he won it, he wasn't ready. But you won't see a lot of people talking about that. And you'll see a lot of people trying to sit there and say, oh, he was clearly ready back then, confusing what CM Punk became in the WWE with what he was at that time in the WWE, which was a fish out of water, clearly not ready for the spot. And frankly, the WWE wasn't ready for him in that spot either. And the same thing with Daniel Bryan. Here's a guy that so many of you that now want to riot over him and cancel your network subscription and never watch the company again until the next time you watch him in a couple of weeks. You want to riot and rampage for this guy and hijack shows for him. You loved him so much you couldn't even stuff the ballot box effectively enough on the opening season of NXT. David Otunga, for Christ's sakes, lasted longer on that show than freaking Daniel Bryan did. And then even once the Nexus debuted and that whole worked firing of him going away for 2 months and coming back at SummerSlam 2010, the reaction was kind of, Then he feuds with The Miz, wins the U.S. title, defends his title against DiBiase at Survivor Series 2010, goes 33 minutes in the Rumble. You know, so far so good. They were doing good with Daniel Bryan. But then he's not even on the main WrestleMania 27 card, and he's in the freaking U.S. Championship match against Sheamus. They get bumped to the pre-show where their match becomes a freaking battle royal that, if I remember correctly, was won by the freaking Great Khali. And then they feuded him with Cody Rhodes, I believe, where Cody Rhodes is putting a freaking bag over his head. But now, for some reason, all of a sudden, come Money in the Bank 2011, Daniel Bryan wins the briefcase, and he's ready. This is awesome, and we can't wait for him to win the freaking championship. So wait a second. A guy who was so important and so relevant that he wasn't even on the main WrestleMania 27 show, and a lot of you, while you didn't like it, you didn't sit there and riot about it, you didn't sit there and create whole campaigns about it via social media. He goes on and he wins Money in the Bank, then immediately loses to Wade Barrett at SummerSlam, doesn't even get booked at all at Survivor Series 2011. It's great and it's awesome, and the timing and moment is so right, and this is the perfect performer when he sits there and cashes in at TLC 2011. No, he most certainly wasn't freaking ready then. No way. And his title reign showed that. They booked him as a cowardly, cookie-cutter, chicken shit heel, stuck him with AJ Lee, where they wanted to put more of the emphasis on him, so that way Daniel Bryan could go on to lose to Sheamus in the opening match of WrestleMania 28 as a World Heavyweight Champion in 18 seconds. That title reign sucked, and you goddamn good and well know it. It became more about AJ Lee than it did freaking Daniel Bryan. But yet a lot of you will sit there and creatively remember it differently and think that Daniel Bryan was ready, really ready, and been built up so incredibly well that it just made so much sense and was only right that he had that time and that opportunity. No. It was dumb as shit when he won Money in the Bank. And it was lame as fuck that build up to him actually cashing in, and his first title reign sucked. So where do so many of you that defended CM Punk getting that opportunity when he wasn't ready, and Daniel Bryan getting that opportunity when he wasn't ready, now sitting there and blasting Roman Reigns clearly and defiantly saying that he's not ready? When you look at it from a character standpoint, and you look at where Roman Reigns has been built and he's been featured and the way he's been spotlighted compared to CM Punk and Daniel Bryan combined, it's not even close. There's no comparison. Roman Reigns is clearly, from a character standpoint, far more ready for that top spot than CM Punk in 2008 ever could have imagined, or Daniel Bryan in 2011 ever could have hoped to be. And that's the freaking truth. You might fear hearing it, but you know goddamn good and well that that's real. You look at Roman Reigns. He's been a part of big-time angles at big-time shows. His Shield team beat Cena and Friends at Elimination Chamber 2013, beat Orton and Friends at WrestleMania 29, feuded with Hell No, beat them for the straps at Extreme Rules 2013, him and Seth Rollins did. Beat Bryan and Orton at Payback, feuded with Cody Rhodes and Goldust and have some incredible matches. Roman Reigns, Survivor Series 2013, gets the Diesel treatment, eliminates 4 people, helps his team win. At the 2014 Royal Rumble, he goes over a half hour, eliminates 12 people, breaks Kane's elimination record of 11. Is part of that awesome 3-on-3 tag match, 6-man tag between the Shield and the Wyatt family at Elimination Chamber. You know, beat that Authority team in that crap match at WrestleMania 30. Was a part of those 2 great matches against Evolution at both Payback and Extreme Rules. Look at all the spotlight. Look at these signature key moments for Roman Reigns. There was a big swell of support come last summer where people were starting to really get behind Roman Reigns. I mean, he was a part of that ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Money in the Bank 2014. He was a part of that 4-way at Battleground. He beat Orton at SummerSlam. Look at all of these accomplishments to freaking Daniel Bryan defending his belt against DiBiase at Survivor Series 2010, and then being in the pre-show of WrestleMania 27 where the focus ended up becoming the Great Khali, and then losing to Wade Barrett at SummerSlam, and not even wrestling or working Survivor Series 2011. Who the fuck is more ready? Seriously. Now, part of the fear is that Roman Reigns missed 3 months at the worst possible time. And I grant you that, and I agree with you. And that sapped a lot of his momentum, especially bringing him back and immediately sticking him into a program with Big Show. It's the last fucking thing that I would have done with this guy. I'd have done that a year plus ago as I'm trying to build him up and as I'm trying to get him ready for that spot. I most certainly wouldn't do that now when I'm trying to get him ready to win a freaking Royal Rumble. That timeout really hurt. It sapped a lot of his momentum, and I understand that. And in particular, he wasn't built up and refreshed very well in that month leading up to the Rumble from his return at TLC. I get that, and I understand that, but damn it all, it's hypocritical to sit there and say Roman Reigns isn't ready, but be perfectly fine with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan when they got their opportunities way, way too fucking soon, because they clearly did. And for those of you that are going to sit there and say, well, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan were so much better. No, they weren't. Not at that time. Not as characters. No fucking way. Are you out of your ever-loving fucking mind? Seriously. You know that's bullshit. Plain and simple. You cannot measure CM Punk in 2008 compared to what CM Punk became and say they're one and the same. It's not even close. It took time. It took years for CM Punk to become that type of performer and that type of superstar. And the same holds true for Daniel Bryan. So many of you are going to sit there and talk about Daniel Bryan, what he is in 2014 and 2015. Well, from a WWE superstar standpoint, I assure you, he most certainly wasn't fucking that in 2010 and 2011. CM Punk's character, especially as a babyface, was so hokey and so corny and so stupid, and Daniel Bryan was so lame and so goddamn vanilla that I don't want to hear anybody that sits there and supported both of those guys back then and thought that their title opportunities and reigns were so freaking star-spangled awesome dare bitch about Roman Reigns not being ready and not being good on the mic and his character lacking that sizzle. Because as far as I'm concerned, you love those characters that didn't have the sizzle when they did it several years ago. What's the difference? Is it because one looks the more traditional WWE part and the other two guys don't, and they spent years on the independent scene paying their dues? The bottom line is we need new stars in the WWE. I understand that you're afraid of what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan. I get that. Hopefully he'll get his moment again at some point in time, but the timing wasn't right. It wasn't this year. It wasn't meant to be. Accept that. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. You weren't afraid of CM Punk getting that opportunity. You weren't afraid of Daniel Bryan getting that opportunity, why are you so afraid of Roman Reigns getting that opportunity when from a character standpoint, he's clearly more ready at this point in time than those two were combined when they got their opportunities?